Oh, we're on that way. We're on that way.
Whether everybody's people have been going out, like everybody who's not freaking out, maybe like 3 inches of snow. No, the way they're talking, it's like random people around the state where there's snow that go out and hey, let's go out and measure, and they take measure down 3 inches. Oh no, Mr. Adams.
Hello. For those of you who don't know, my name is Greg Hearn. I'm chair of the Map Planning Commission. Adams. Go ahead, introduce yourself to those people unless you.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said.
Okay.
That's like a masked man.
This is
My name is
member of the
Steve
Map
Smith.
and Planning Commission. My name is James Adams.
That was my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my name is Steve Smith, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to tell you.
Well, Sandra and Jason, I'm glad we're all here tonight.
That's Jason, right?
Yes, sir.
We're right
Keep
on
me
time.
warm all this wonderful snow we're getting.
I heard it. No, working out there.
Call to order at 6 o'clock. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. Allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag
Flag
of the United States of America,
And
to
to
the
the republic
republic which
stands
stands one nation,
nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
Josh, I don't see anybody here for a public hearing, so we can dispense with that. I would
Right,
guess.
yeah, that's just a placeholder. Let me call roll real quick though, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, Greg Hearn,
Here.
Steve Smith,
Here,
James Adams,
Here.
Jason Morrow,
here.
Sandra Davis.
Here,
and who are the other two?
Well, who are our other two members, please? Our people.
I'm Chris Wickenhagen. I'm the YV COG Executive Director.
Pleased to meet you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Watson. I am a senior planner with the YV COG, working on SMPs and the rescue grant.
Now, new business, I guess, is this resolution that we're supposed to take up tonight. We need to take some time to read this.
No, I got it, but there was did you ask for old business?
Oh, yeah, what's old business?
Okay, I just had one question probably for, it doesn't really concern anything. A year ago, we were all sent applications to see if we were still going to be on the commission now, because you're going to have new people on there. We haven't heard anything from you guys for a year. And so I just want to know who the commissioners are and what was the status. How come the city council wouldn't inform us if we went to the trouble to fill out applications? Do you have any idea about that?
So everything kind of went pear-shaped with the
A
coronavirus
lot of
pandemic.
people use
Yeah,
that excuse.
yeah. It was, we haven't convened anything since then, so. You've been included in all of what we've done so far, sir. Like I said, it's just gone to the wayside with that.
So who have you got to apply besides Steve?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm the only one that filled out the form
That
that you
went through
sent
the-
us and
that
said
took-
we had to all fill out.
Yeah.
It won't happen again.
You couldn't come get it.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. We've been on it for many years and
Yeah.
you said you wanted to rotate and get some new people in. And so I thought after a year, maybe that happened.
No applications.
No applications.
Wow. Well, that's pretty
We're
much.
not- we're not popular.
Okay, anyway, thank you. Sorry, Josh, I'm not picking on you.
Somebody has to. Okay, what do we need to do with this, Josh? Review an opinion of public participation plan for shoreline master plan update? Okay, what do we need to do this evening? People from YV Cog?
Yeah,
I have one,
I can
I have
jump
one
in.
question before we start. Maybe it'll help us move along here. Can you hear me all right?
Yes,
Oh, okay, thank you. I understand that this meeting is all about the shoreline program, okay? According to our last, all this work we did on our, we don't have, Mapton doesn't have any lakes, rivers, floodplains, wetlands, or any of the above. And I just want to know,
Yeah, none in our urban growth area.
none, or in the city limits. This is supposed to be the Mapton city limits. We don't even have any in the urban growth area. So I'm just wondering why we're considering this issue.
I hope I can shed some light on that for you. Again, my name is Jeff Watson. I'm a land use planner. I've got about 15 years experience and done some work on shorelines updates. And I've been working with the COG on the contracts that, with 8 of the jurisdictions in the Yakima County. You are in a peculiar situation. The reason that we are doing this is because within the state RCWs, they list all of the counties and all of the communities within those counties that are required to plan under the Shoreline Master Program. I can provide you a copy of that if you would like, but even though our folks at Ecology agree that you have no jurisdictions within your city limits or your urban growth area, the challenges involved with it literally will take an act of Congress to get you out of the program. In the interim, Ecology has put money forward in the form of a grant, and we have signed a professional services agreement to develop your plan and include a blank inventory list for the time being. It is hoped that at some point in the near future that the Department of Ecology will reevaluate their existing laws and codes, and hopefully we can clarify and get this thing cleared up. But the reason we're doing this is because basically the RCW says you must plan, and at this point in time, we don't have the wherewithal through Ecology to get you off the list. The good news is you've got a grant and it's not going to cost you anything. We have constructed a draft plan. We've constructed a public participation plan. We have done the inventory. We've done a tremendous amount of work to this point. And we're just caught in one of those governmental bureaucratic oopses that forces your hand. And for that, I apologize on behalf of the state of Washington.
I appreciate your answer, and I hope we understand that as long as YV Cog hasn't come up with any recommendations or amendments, and can I assume we're going to recommend adequacy to the city council?
Well, we have been placed in a unique position on that front as well. As you are, I'm sure, aware, the city of Mapton adopted the Regional Shoreline Master Program that was created by Yakima County back in 2008, I believe. Ecology viewed that Regional Shoreline Master Program as something as a failed experiment, and Yakima County has gone in a different direction for their shorelines update. So at the behest of Ecology and their representatives, we have adopted a stance that we need to do something, and we have followed the city of Sela's lead on this project. They, because they had some extensive areas out by 82 in their urban growth area, came up with about $60,000 of their own money and hired a consultant to come in and work with them for their update. They did a fine job of trimming off a lot of extraneous information that was included in the Yakima County Regional Shoreline Master Program, and some of the administrative processes and some of the codes and policies that were germane to their critical areas ordinance that really don't pertain to the individual communities. So because the county has gone in a different direction and Ecology wants us to pursue a slightly different direction, we're still retaining the skeleton of the Regional Shoreline Master Program, but the draft that we've created has trimmed off all of the information related to their critical areas ordinance and all of the information related to their administrative processes. Unfortunately, the way that smaller jurisdictions adopted that, they left in the language that all of their permitting processes and such go through the Yakima County Board of County Commissioners. Again, because you don't have any shorelines, much of this is moot, but for the other 7 jurisdictions that actually have some degree of shoreline, potential shorelines in their jurisdictions, we got a hold of Sela's, did a little tweaking on it, and removed about 2/3 of the extraneous information that was included in the Regional Shoreline Master Program. So we cut it down to bare bones. We are going to be adapting it to individual jurisdictions' administrative processes, and then we will adopt the citations and references that refer back to your flood hazard control code, for example, or your critical areas code, so that everything corresponds and gels within the references between the different titles of your code. The other element that we have to do is look at any ordinances and development code updates you may have adopted since adopting the Regional Shoreline Master Program, and ensure that there was nothing done there that is in conflict with the program as it exists. We have the public participation plan in front of you today for your review. This is a required element to, and of course, COVID has forced some adaptations to this public participation program, and we've incorporated that in, but it kind of outlines the process by which we're going to take public comment, try and figure out a way to have an open house public meeting, community participation situation, as well as the codified processes for approval to your development code. So we are bringing you the public participation plans in the hopes that you will recommend its forwarding to the city council, and they can adopt it formally by resolution, and we can get that into the record. We also have a copy of our draft Shoreline Master Program without citations or administrative processes that we wanted to get in front of you so that you can kind of give it a once over and see what you're thinking. Again, in reference to your findings of adequacy, this is not a total rewrite, even though it is dramatically altering the existing regional plan. It is intended to evaluate the existing plan that you're working from to make sure that any changes you've made or any changes that the state has made are not butting heads as to policy and procedural and conflicts between the two. So that's the essence of what is supposed to happen. Again, we got kind of on a merry-go-round with the county and the state, and we're doing the best that we can to adapt it and make it simple, clean it up, make it readable, and make it viable, while still not actually making any substantive changes to the Regional Shoreline Master Program that exists today. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
So are we just supposed to adopt this resolution here then?
Well, it's our request that you recommend to the city council that they adopt it by resolution, and that's just kind of a formality as part of our record so that we can demonstrate that we're working with the community, that we're doing our best to get the information out and receive public comment and input. It's similar to the processes that you go through for comprehensive plan amendments. It's just a demonstration of that we have designed a community input and participation plan, and that we're going to be adhering to it in the future. And that'll go into the record so that Ecology can confirm that we are doing these processes.
Does this meeting tonight suffice for the public hearing?
No, sir. No, we're just asking that you recommend adoption of the PPP, and we want to introduce you and address any initial questions you might have about the Shoreline Master Program update and get you familiarized with the situation, what the expectations are, and what the processes are going to look like going ahead. It must be adopted by June 30th of this year, so we're on a limited timeline, but I think we've worked out the calendars, and it looks like we're going to be able to achieve what we need to achieve and get it done before the end of the expiration period. Technically, there are no repercussions per se if we go beyond June 3rd, 30th. The only issue is that we won't be able to be reimbursed from Ecology on the grants for any efforts that extend beyond that. So,
Well, my question was simply, we can't do anything, we can't move forward until we've had the public hearing. We can't recommend to the city council until after the public hearing.
correct.
That's all.
You can recommend the public participation plan adoption, but and that's what we're asking for. We're not asking for you to endorse or recommend on the SMP itself, just the public participation plan. We will hold some form of public forum. We'll come back in a month in order to request that the SMP be adopted or recommend that it's adopted, and then it'll go to city council, of course, for first review and second reading and hopefully adoption.
When are we going to receive a copy of what we need to have?
Did we get those distributed? I sent them down. Okay. I'll check in with your staff, your administration staff, and make sure we get copies out to you. I've delivered both hard copies and digital copies. I also have an inventory map that shows that you have none, and kind of a roadmap that describes in a little bit more detail what it was we did to the regional Shoreline Master Program and how we sliced and diced and relocated some elements to make it more user friendly.
Is this the Shoreline Master Program update public participation plan that I have in front of me? Is that what we're talking about?
I do not know for sure what you have in front of you.
So this is only the public participation plan portion.
Good.
So do I look for a motion to recommend the public participation plan to the city council? Is that what we're looking for this evening?
That's what we're hoping for. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that we forward to the city council the public participation plan for the Shoreline Master Program?
I make a motion, we adopt the public participation plan for the city of Mapleton Shoreline Program update.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passed.
Thank you very much. We'll make sure we get copies of the draft program to you, our roadmap and a jurisdictional map that, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of empty. I apologize. This is just one of those state mandated programs that they wanted to, this dates back to the early 70s, of course. And under the guise of local control for state programs, they dropped it in the laps of all jurisdictions, counties and cities that theoretically have shorelines in their jurisdiction. But unfortunately, somebody didn't look very close at the map for you guys, and they put you in anyway.
They just seen a river or a town next to a river.
Yep.
Okay, yes, there's a second one, selection of planning commissioner for YVCOG. Are you asking for one of us to be part of YVCOG up there during the year? That is?
I'm not sure what is on your agenda, but we were going to share with you about a grant that we received for some possible housing in Mabton. Is that on the agenda?
No.
No.
I don't think anyone mentioned that. So the other thing that we have is just the general membership and the alternates where we typically would put an elected official.
Right. That
this year, obviously, that was different. There's a planning commissioner space also.
correct. So we have 2 representatives from Mabton, and then we request that we have somebody from the Planning Commission also be a part of our general membership and our meetings for your information also. So our general membership meetings, we bring in different speakers. So the next speaker in March is going to be talking about transportation. And then in May, we have a speaker coming in and talking about the Growth Management Act and how that impacts the cities. So we'd like to have somebody from a planning commission attend these meetings. I'm hoping to be able to give you information or contacts of people to talk with if you have specific questions.
Now, you mentioned housing. Is that the Farmers Clinic that you're talking about?
No, that is a specific grant that we received from the Kresge Foundation. And we have selected Mabton and Toppenish to use as our pilots. And we are going to, with the council's permission, come in and survey the people who live in Mabton and find out different things that they love about your city and different ways that they hope you will grow your city or different planning activities. So if that isn't on the agenda, then we'll go ahead and skip that for tonight. And we'll come back to you after I speak with the staff to make sure we're at the right meeting.
I don't know what to do with that, Josh. Have any volunteers to be part of that planning commission, YVCOG?
How often do you meet?
How often do you meet, YVCOG?
We meet 6 times a year. And right now we are meeting through Zoom. But once we can be in person again, we rotate that in between the different cities. So depending upon which city is hosting, that is where we go for the meeting. And it is on Wednesday evenings, the 3rd Wednesday of the month. So it's February, March, May, September, October, and December. And like I said, it isn't a requirement. It is, all of you could actually come if there was a speaker that was of interest to you. And it's open. We'd like to have somebody there to communicate with, or somebody, that we know we can share information with. But if it doesn't work into your schedules right now, that's okay too.
Did you say that these meetings are at different cities each meeting?
Yes, yes, we share that. All of the cities, the town and the county are members of YVCOG. And so we just ask for volunteers of who would like to host, and cities will volunteer. And then we actually go to their city and see what they've done and how they're growing. And that's where we host the meeting at.
Yeah, I have no problem volunteering if nobody else wants to.
You got it, Jason?
Thank you, Jim.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to cover tonight for you guys?
No.
Okay. No visitors' comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second,
Second,
moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.